Here we go for a 160-pound match for the Class AA state championship. Coach, what do you have for us for these two boys?
Well, we've got a very intriguing matchup here. Obviously Dylan Reel from Washington, his senior is 47-2. He's a three-time finalist. He's already a two-time state champion. This year, as I mentioned before earlier here in our broadcast, he went out to the Ironman and was a placer at the Ironman. That's where his only two losses happened. Austin Armetta is 38-1 as a senior from Mahomet-Seymour, and his only loss this year was to Dylan Reel earlier in the year, a 15-11 match that, from what I understand, was pretty exciting, and a lot of points were flying there. So this could be a very intriguing matchup.
Reel will be in the black singlet, Armetta in the orange singlet, and Austin's coached by Rob Ledden down there in Mahomet, and Dylan's coached by Brian Medlin over in Washington. We talked a little bit earlier about the success our freestyle and Greco teams have had, and Brian's one of our Greco coaches for the state of Illinois. So Dylan kind of grew up doing some Greco type of things. He's been able to do a real nice job using them in the folk style part of it also.
Well, both of these programs are, very rich in tradition, and this match, like I said, took place earlier in the year, and obviously this is, as it's starting out here, Dylan Reel is as decorated he is, he knows he's got a tough work ahead of him tonight here.
Yeah, he won the state championship as a freshman, as a sophomore, and last year in the semifinals, in just a great match. The boy from Montini beat him, and Dylan did come back and finish third.
Yeah, that was Dimitri Willis, and obviously that's, a big upset, last year, but it just goes to show you how difficult it is, as we just watched a couple matches ago, Bryce Brill go down over here to be a four-time state champion, even a three-time. Ooh, a nice duck under attempt there.
The move Dylan uses quite a bit. That's part of his Greco training. He likes to use that in what I call a slide-by type of thing in order to set some things up. Oh, he's got him locked up. We'll see when it becomes two. Nope, he waved it off.
No score.
Yep. Again, he had him in position to score. The referee thought he had it, then did a nice job. I always like referees aren't afraid to say, gee, I called that too quick, and wave it off.
Well, and again, we talked about the referees earlier today, and boy, I tell you, if you've ever had to referee, and most coaches I know, you've been somewhere where a referee didn't show up and you got a JV match or something of that level, and things are happening. I'll tell you, how difficult it is, and you got to give a lot of credit to these guys, because we can all point to the one or two calls, every weekend down here that we think are terrible calls, and we talk about them for months and even years, but it doesn't count the hundreds and literally thousands of calls they do an excellent job on, and really make our state proud.
Yeah, exactly. Anytime somebody complains to me about a referee, I said, well, have you done it before? And if they say no, I said, well, then go do it for a while, and then you tell me how easy it is.
Big takedown by Reel there at the end of the period. Now he's up 2-0, and puts him in the driver's seat, obviously.
And this is where Dylan's improved quite a bit in the last couple years. He used to be basically takedown type of person. Now he does a much better job of riding and using some things on the mat to earn points. Again, nice tight hip ride. Look where his right hip is in there, real tight. Nice tight waist with his right hand. Now he's on his feet. Nice mat return. But we're seeing a lot of, I always call it the atomic drop, where they lift them and twist them in order to mat return them. That's how Colton got dinged up a little bit in the last match, actually.
Well, it's obviously a skill that needs to be drilled in a practice situation over and over again, because, many times that does come up in a match, and that's an old Iowa drill. Dan Gable.
Bounce them and bring them back up, huh?
Yep.
But that's exactly, many people think you just lift them and throw them. There's a lot more hip action in it than I think most people understand.
Well, it's leverage too. Obviously, you have to be able to get your weight underneath that weight that's moving, and the best ones are able to do that. You're right, and they lift with their hips and do.
Armetta's trying to get his hips out. He trails 2-0. Reel looks like he's got an arm bar locked up. See if he can jump off to the side and do something constructive. Armetta's trying to get to his base, which he does. And he peels the arm bar off. We're at 55 seconds to go in the second period. Again, a ride out would be huge here for Reel, because then he could take third period, take bottom, and pretty much have control of the match.
Under 40 here.
Armetta's on his feet again. Needs to get better hand control when he gets to his feet, maybe.
Well, that, and I think he's got to do a better job of anticipating when he's returned to the mat. He's got to be in a better position. He's got to bring his knees to his chest.
Exactly.
And be able to explode from that position.
Yeah, because what you're saying is if you land on your belly, you're kind of in trouble.
No, Real cuts
Real
him
looks
under
like he
30
cut him
seconds
there. That was kind of big. Unless he thinks he can get a takedown here in the last 20, because we are inside 20 seconds to go in the second period. And Armetta, he just wants to get out of this period 2-1, and he's got a chance to win it. Again, collar tie up for both of them. They're just kind of wasting their time here. Let's get it to the third period. And we'll go there right now. Real will have choice. We have to assume he's going to take the bottom. It'll be interesting to see what happens when they get to their feet. I haven't really seen Armetta with much of an offense here is doing things. See if he's going to be willing to open up early in the period if he does trail 3-1. Because there's the basic cut there. He didn't try and ride in too much. Real's got that Russian or 2-on-1 locked up, and that's always tough. Oh, nice spin out. Oh, no, that's
nope.
Good call.
Good call there by Shane Morgan on the edge.
Was originally going to give the 2 right away. Armetta flipped quicker than reaction, or for a reaction time situation, and avoided giving up the 2. I don't think he wants to tie up with Dillon here. I think he's better off shooting from a distance or doing something on the wrist instead of getting the hand behind the head there.
Well, that's a good point, and that's one of the things I know that over the years too, with your coaching staff, you talk about putting together a game plan, but it's very difficult because if you coach a wrestler and he does something, and relies on that very heavily, it's very difficult to get him out of that habit. So
Dillon's got kind of a chest wrap locked up on him off the front headlock, and we're at 114, 3-1 in favor of Real. And Real right away, he wants to get to that tie-up. Boy, he's reaching out and putting that hand in there.
That's obviously feels very comfortable there. Now there's a stalling call on Armetta.
Again, doesn't hurt you at all. Ref's just saying, hey, be a little more active for me. There he tried kind of a head snap, something like that, to try and get Dillon out of position. But Real's really forcing the action with some nice hand fighting here. Oh, slide by for, there's nice. The 2. Real nice move. So he'll lead 5-1 with about 40 seconds left. And I've got a great opportunity to watch Dillon grow up there. He's from the Washington High School, and that's in our area, and he's been real active in the freestyle and Greco stuff. Always done well out in Fargo and is part of Illinois' national team. So he's really put in the time and effort, and to be a potential three-time state champion here, it's quite a credit to him and their program over there.
Well, he's doing an excellent job on these leg attacks with that slide by, and then he threw that underhook over.
Now he seems to have a lot of confidence in what he's doing. He was kind of maybe tentative before, but he's really fired up. 16 seconds left. He'll lead 7-3.
Well, he's put on a dominating performance here, and he's showing why he's, as you mentioned, going to go down in history as one of the best ever.
Yep, three-time state champion, one-time third place, and Scott, I know he holds the Greater Peoria area record. Now that's not good as far as stuff goes. Again, I always hope the kids handle their wins with a little bit of class and so on, but to flip his headgear down in the middle of the Class A mat as they were wrestling, that probably wasn't real good, but he's still a three-time state champion for us.